Our speaker, Jason Carr, the Copper Train. The Copper Train, Jason Carr.
Have you ever found yourself trying to fit into somebody else's mold, only to realize that true happiness comes from being who you are? I've certainly been down this journey. And for me, it started with an unexpected friendship. Contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. For me, it started when I was in third grade. I found myself at a new school. And as I walked into those doors, I found myself amongst a bunch of strange kids, and I had no idea who they were. But I wanted to fit in. I was on a mission to be Mr. Popular. I started pretending to like everything. Are you into sports? I love sports. Not. Do you like art? Would you like to see my pencil drawing of a stick man? It's fantastic. But one of the things that happened is the more I tried to fake it till I could make it, the more I went from Mr. Popular to just Mr. Nobody. None of the kids wanted anything to do with me. That was until I walked into Mrs. Lemke's class. I remember it like yesterday. I walked into class and there was a new kid there. And as I kind of started going towards my desk, I peeked over and I saw her coloring in this coloring book of this cartoon called Shirt Tales. Oh, I love Shirt Tales. So I started talking with her. And the more that we talked, the more that I saw that we had in common. But the more that I talked to Marcy, the more that I saw Marcy was who she was. No matter what anybody else thought. She's an outcast just like me. After that, Marcy and I were inseparable every day. I couldn't wait to get to school to spend time with her. One day, I remember sitting on the playground, feeling kind of sad about being Mr. Nobody. And Marcy walked up to me. She said, "Jason, I want to give you something." And she pulled out this little copper train. She handed it to me. She said, "I want you to have this. And I want you to remember our friendship. Remember that we're friends because you don't pretend with me. So maybe stop pretending with everyone else." I looked at that little copper train and I just gave her the biggest hug. Not too long after that, I found out that we were moving and I would go to a new school with new kids. But Marcy wouldn't be with me. As we got to the end of the school year, I asked Marcy for her phone number and I jotted it down really quick. And I couldn't wait as we went into the summertime to give her a call and find out what adventures that she had been on. So I picked up the phone and I started dialing. I held that receiver up. And all I heard was, eh. The line had been disconnected. My one connection to Marcy, gone. Through the years, I've thought about Marcy so many times. Whenever I started at a new school, or when I started a new job, or joined a new Toastmasters club, and trying to figure out, how do I fit in? How do I be me? And when I would have those feelings, I would pull out my copper train and remember what she told me. Now, through the years, I've tried finding Marcy. I remember when MySpace came out. Does anybody remember MySpace? I looked on MySpace. I looked on Facebook. I even Googled. Never could find anything. And then one day, I decided that I wanted to share the story in my Toastmasters club. And as I was writing the speech, I thought, I'll Google one last time. And I Googled, and I found an article that said a person by the name of Marcy had passed away in a car wreck. I couldn't be sure if it was her. I felt like it was, like I would never see my friend again. And I remember going home that night and just looking at that train and remembering that she told me always to be me. A little while later, for some reason, a couple of years ago, I decided to look on Facebook again. And as I went from profile to profile to profile, I could not find anything. And then, oh my God, maybe it's her. So I reached out and I said, did you go to St. Simon's School? She said, yes. I said, do you remember me? She said, no. She said, I'm sorry, but I'm recovering from cancer, and a lot of my childhood memories are gone. So I sent her a picture of the copper train. I said, do you remember the copper train? She said, oh my God, I do. My father passed away when I was in the 2nd grade. And I got that copper train when my mom took me to a museum. You know, this copper train right here reminded me so many times of who I am supposed to be. And now it was reminding Marcy of who she was. So friends, I don't know what your copper train is, but find your copper train. And remember, be yourself. True happiness lies in being you for others. Mr. Contest Chair.